Wow, look at this. I'm going to buy her my next person.
Thank you. Woman driver. Thank you, son. Jennifer has thank you. Wait. Over here. That's her.
Hey, about 100?
Hi, Beto.
Thank you.
You remember her dog.
Wow.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lord, thank you.
Go.
Thank you.
Film Evelyn, go. I need you.
Look at her go, man. Tell me.
2022.
Yeah, I guess there are some rules. Yeah. Like, no, I get some
And now, young people, the next governor of Texas.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Thank you for being here. For everyone who so generously donated again at Ms. Opal Lee's request, got to make sure we're following the law. So otherwise, if we don't get it, we just bought Miss Lee dinner for the week, okay? And that's good too. That's good too.
Who do I give it to?
If you donated and you haven't given information, Cynthia will take it right up here at the front, and Gina as well. And hopefully we've got other team members here who will do it as well. Thank you all for being here with us tonight, for always welcoming us so warmly, to the team here at Jackson's, to the ice-cold beer that you just served me that tasted so good on this warm summer night. Let me tell you all something about Opal Lee. I don't want to assume that everybody knows this story. But as Opal Lee just told us, she's 95 years old. She's a lifelong Texan, born in Marshall, Texas, okay? With her family, they moved here in the 1930s, moved into an all-white neighborhood. And in 1939, on June 19th of that year, a mob came to her house and burned it down. And when her father stepped up and tried to defend Opal and his family and save their house, police officer at the time said, "Sir, if you do that, I'm going to turn this mob loose on your family." And so Opal and her family, they were the Flake family, had to watch as their house burned to the ground. That was Juneteenth, 1939 for Miss Opal Lee. And every day following that, she wanted to make sure that everybody in Fort Worth, everybody in North Texas, everyone in this state, everyone in this country got a full accounting of the history of this state and of our people and everyone who makes up Texas. You know, there's this attack on history teachers right now and on education. And they'll tell you it's all about CRT. Well, for those of you who are fighting against that, Opal Lee was the original back in 1939, and she made it her mission as an educator, as a citizen, as someone involved in civic life to make sure that that full, honest, true story was told. Well, when she was in her 80s, she started walking from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. She walked the entire distance. She prevailed upon the members of Congress. She prevailed upon the president. And last year, President Joe Biden signed Juneteenth into law as the first federally recognized holiday in this country in more than 30 years. And Opal Lee did that. No matter the obstacles, no matter what was in her way, she overcame it. Her persistence, her strength, her courage, her faith in herself, and her faith in all of us. We need that story about Opal Lee right now. We need some hope and inspiration at this moment. These are very dark days for a lot of our fellow Texans. If you're the parents of a transgender child, you might find that your own state government is investigating you for child abuse and threatens to take your kiddo and every other child in that household away from you and turn them over to CPS Care, the worst run foster care program in the United States of America, where more than 100 children have lost their lives in the last year and a half. If you're a woman, after 49 years of Roe versus Wade being the law of the land, you can no longer in Texas make your own decisions about your own body, your own health care, your own future. If, like Amy and I, you've got a kid who is starting school in 15 days, that's when the El Paso Independent School District begins their next school year, you realize that after Uvalde, after Santa Fe High School, after Sutherland Springs, after the massacres in El Paso and Midland, Odessa, nothing but nothing has changed in our gun laws except to make it easier for those who should not have a firearm to carry them openly on our streets, into our campuses, into our movie theaters, and into our grocery stores. If you live in this state right now, you're having a very hard time making ends meet. You've seen your property taxes go through the roof.
Yes.
Your utility bills increase when our own governor couldn't keep the lights on and the heat running and the water flowing in Texas. And when that grid failed, he passed the bill on to all of us. Listen, we could go on, but let us remember, these are very dark days for far too many of our fellow Texans, and they are calling upon us right now. They are counting on everyone who is here and everyone that we will meet over the next 3.5 months to do everything we have with what we have, where we are, and who we are with at this moment. And it's not just those who are going through this right now, it's the generations who are looking at us from the future, waiting to see whether, given all that is at stake in this state, we will do everything we can within our power to bring us through, to make sure that we take common sense steps to reduce gun violence in this state, to make sure that we have the backs of those heroic teachers and pay them a living wage so they don't have to work 2 or 3 jobs at a time, to cancel the STAR test so they can focus on those kids in front of them, replace it with something better, to make sure that every woman makes her own decisions about her own body, her own future, right here in the state of Texas. And to define ourselves, not by who we're supposed to be afraid of, not who it is that we hate, but how it is that we can come together and fulfill our ambitions, live up to our aspirations. That's who we are as Texans, and not just Democrats. That's independents, that's Republicans as well. That's the message that we've got to get out to them. And lest you ever be tempted to despair, think about Opal Lee. She had all the excuses in the world from 1939 to 2021 when she got the job done, to despair, to give up hope, to say, you know what, this is just too hard, I'm not going to do this anymore. But this last June 19th, right here in Fort Worth, Texas, when it was about 200 degrees outside, I followed Opal Lee as she walked every step of the 2.5 miles to begin to reenact that march that she made to Washington, D.C. Another example, another inspiration of what we have in us right now at this moment. And I want to tell you that not only is it possible because we have done it before, but we're doing it right now. Thanks to you, everyone who has contributed to this campaign. We announced today that we've raised $27 million over the last 4 months. And ladies and gentlemen, that's $3 million more than Greg Abbott raised in the same period of time. We have 78,000 volunteers who signed up to knock on doors, to meet voters where they are, to have those conversations that bring these eligible non-voters in, the very people targeted for voter suppression and voter intimidation who were not supposed to participate, so that on election night, November 8th, they provide the margin of victory when we win this thing together for everybody in the state of Texas. Y las encuestas, if you care about polls, in December, Quinnipiac measured this race, found us 15 points down. They just measured it a few weeks ago. We're now 5 points down. We've cut that lead by 10. We're moving in the right direction. The trajectory is on the right path. The momentum is in our favor. And I'll tell you what, if all of us will do what we can with the 3.5 months left to us, I guarantee you we're going to win this. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to drink a lot of beer, but not too much beer. We are going to tip our servers handsomely. We're going to listen and rock out to Jackie Benson and this amazing band that's been playing behind us. And then there's this. This is the one thing in addition that I ask of you. And it's a really big thing. But without it, we're not going to win this election. I need everyone to think about whether or not they're willing to sign up right now with us to knock on doors. And I'll tell you, it is not easy. And I'll tell you, it is hot out there. And I'll tell you, some of the conversations that you have at these doors of complete strangers can be a little awkward or a little uncomfortable. But the single greatest reason given by non-voters for not participating in our elections is that no one ever showed up and invited them in. They are waiting for you right now. We won't win this through the candidate. We won't win this through the party. We won't win this through our political ads or our social media. We will win this through the power of people in Texas. So let me hear you. Are you willing to sign up and knock on doors with us in this election? We have volunteers wearing yellow vests who have clipboards right now. They are going to ask each and every single one of you if you will sign up. We're going to put a little bit of pressure on you to get you to do this. And it's only because we love you and we care about you. And we want you to be so happy on the night of November 8th when we win this by and for the people of Texas. You all ready? Thank you for being with us tonight. We're going to get back to rocking out. We're going to look forward to taking pictures with you, drinking a beer with you, having some fun, and then getting after it back on the campaign trail. Gracias, everybody.
Did you get it? He's coming right over this way. Look over here. Look over here. 1, 2, 3. Where's the water burger?
Chicken fried. Big Manfield and you see white gravy on this side. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking something? Oh, my mama, stop your belly back on the door. Oh, my mama, ain't that Texas cooking good? Oh, my mama, eat it up and down here, my
Hey y'all, thank you so much for being here. Just so you know, we are going to do a photo line if you want to stick around. The line is going to go that way. So if you would like to meet Beto and get a picture made, see these umbrellas and this tree over here? You want to go past it and around that way. You cannot access this way. Thank you all so much for being here and for your patience. And here comes Jackie Benson.
We're gonna play you guys a song called Surrender.
Can you get a picture of that, please?
Hey, little girl, why are you so worried? Hey, little girl, just try to be